Okay, so for this problem, we have minus 3q, and then we have a plus 3q, or excuse me, a plus q, and then the goal is to get the electric field. So I'm going to represent these just as dots. So this dot represents minus 3q, and this dot represents plus q. And basically the idea is I'm going to treat these as adding together the so my goal is to treat these as a dipole plus two extra monopoles. So a dipole is a plus q and a minus q, and I know what the field looks like for that. And then I also have this the extra minus 2q's to make a total of minus 3q over here. So I'm going to start with the dipole field, and I'll draw that in black. So the fields, so I'm going to draw the middle line, and I'm going to represent the fields with little vectors as opposed to continuous lines. So it gets big here, and then as you get away from the atoms, it gets smaller, but then, or excuse me, the charges, but then it gets bigger again. And then they're kind of symmetric in these like little kind of bowed shapes. So again, something like that. And then they get smaller as you get further. This one should be a little smaller than that one, but it can't be perfect. And I'm just going to represent one side, but know that it just repeats down here. So I'm just going to kind of just represent it. Oh, I should not have drawn that through my little pieces, but I'm just going to represent it up here, and then through this sort of half, it repeats. Just so you don't have to suffer through my my drawing, because I certainly don't want to suffer through my own drawing. Okay, and then so they're going to be out here, and then the idea is they kind of like eventually wrap around. And then that should be probably a little smaller, but probably somewhat negligible. Then these kind of keep wrapping. So something like that. And then we need to add in two more charges here. And so I'm going to do that in like a different color, green. Haven't used that one yet. So basically, like, you have to we can approximate this as like, oh, oops, this vector is wrong. Oops, this one should be into here. Okay. So basically, yeah, we're just going to take these vectors near here and like double them in length. Or, excuse me, triple them. So this one, so it's like each one you're going to add two extra vectors to it. And so when you do that, you'll get, and then I guess this effect sort of dies away over here. So this is going to be less affected. Yeah, and so these are going to be bigger, basically. So let's see if I can draw that. So again, representing it only on like the upper half plane. So here's our plus q, and here's our minus 3q. And my goal is to go from this picture of black and green to this sum of black and green. And then I guess I can go ahead and draw some other greens. This is going to be a smaller, but coming in. And then these will be smaller. But then I guess it'll also cause them to like angle down more. And then I'm just going to neglect these effects over here because they are pretty small. Those should be like really small vectors. And then that's going to cause these to like angle down more too, but then it's like less of an effect as you get further away. Okay, so then my answer is going to kind of be on over here. So these I'm going to approximate as basically the same. And I'll go ahead and make those a little taller. So here's our fields, and then yeah, but then they start to have an effect over here. So in this case, they're going to be like 3 times longer. Oh, I wish I'd made those smaller so I could represent them being 3 times longer, bigger. Whatever. All right, I'll do the best I can. So this is supposed to be 3 times that. So I'll go ahead and make these little, oh, I thought that was a eraser. I'll go ahead and make these like a little tinier. So, because these green ones I'm drawing are supposed to be 3 times bigger. And I don't know why I chose to make them a different color, but I guess I did. This is a super long video. I've actually had to redo it a few times. You're probably better off just Googling a picture, but I'll keep going. Okay, and then just, there's no difference between blue and green. I'm just, for some reason, chose to make them blue and green. Okay, so then these are bigger, and then now these are going to be a little more angled down over here, and then also a little bigger. And then these are basically going to be sort of just get tinier and tinier. And then, but then like, let's just say they kind of just start to angle down more. Okay, and then you just repeat everything on the bottom half plane, but you probably don't want to watch me do that.